BMF, tap in. BMF,
business,
BMF, tap in. BMF,
music,
tap in. BMF, tap in.
finance,
BMF, tap in. All you really need. BMF,
M,
tap in. All you
F.
really need. BMF,
the game you need to know.
What's up, everybody? This is your boy WAM. You are watching Business, Music, Finance, the show that gives you the game you need to know, intelligent topics, no drama, no gossip. Today, I have a very special episode. Instead of talking about business, music, and finance, I want to talk about something that is very prevalent in our community. And what that is young people dying way too young for no reason at all over hood politics, over arguments, over issues that if we had talked about them, we may be able to have found a solution that didn't involve death. So I'm going to talk about 3 people that were very close to me that died. I'm going to try to strictly stick to the facts that I know and not speculate, as I was not there in person for any of these deaths. And then I want to talk about what I think we can all learn from each death, because once again, way too many young black men and women dying over bullshit. Excuse my language, I'll be cussing a lot here. So with that said, let's get to it. The first person that died was Darius Latrey Johnson. He was awesome. Only one to fight the Crips when they burnt the flag. Your death got me sad, and I'm still mad. We called him Polo. He was shot in June of 2011, 2 weeks after school was out, so in the summer. He was 16 years old. He was an upcoming junior. I was 17. And so, just to give you a little background, this was in high school, right? 2011. In high school, you had cliques. You had people who aligned themselves with certain groups of people, and you would hang out with whatever clique you was a part of. Now, you had people that were a part of neighborhoods or the hood, right? So, for example, if you was from Hood A, you really didn't have a choice to not be from Hood A, because that's where you from, right? Whether that's because your family grew up there, your brother represented for Hood A, your cousin, whatever the case may be. With cliques, you could choose to be a part of this clique or choose to be a part of that clique. But with hoods, you really ain't get to choose. You know what I'm saying? And so Polo was a part of a certain hood, and he repped his hood. Now, when you talk about the neighborhood, right, and you talk about the hood is supposed to protect you. You ride for the hood gonna ride for you. That's what was always said. And the way that we came about having this saying is the godfather or godmother of it all, the Black Panther Party. They were the first organization that looked to help the hood, that looked to provide resources for the hood because the city wasn't providing it for the hood. And they also were the ones to combat police brutality against people that lived in certain neighborhoods. And now it seems like in certain aspects at certain times, we're doing exactly to ourselves what the police was doing to us back in the 60s, 70s, and 80s. And so now you got the hood, now you got the cliques, right? And now you understand a little bit about how 2011 was when we talk about high school. And the high school was William G. Enlow. It was a magnet school, but certain individuals, because of zip code, got to go to that school. I met a lot of dope people during my time at William G. Enlow. And so now what I want to talk about is the relationship that me and Polo had. Now, I did not have the type of relationship with Polo like I did with the other 2 people I'm about to talk about. So me and Polo was like this, okay? There were some people that was like this with Polo, and there were others that were like this with Polo. But in the short time that I knew him, we spent a lot of time together, and it's because he was talking to this female who had a cousin that I was talking to. And so we would always link up at lunch, or we would, like, you know what I'm saying, skip a class and go smoke something, right? And so we also kind of looked alike because we had small little dreads. You know, they called us Cheeto Head. And I want to say, if you grow in your hair and you can't handle people making fun of how it looks when it looks bad, you don't deserve to have them when they look good. So stay stuck in the ground like Nip says. But anyway, so we kind of looked alike. We was talking to the same, talking to the same family members. And he called me after school ended one day. He was like, yo, man, let's get on the phone, woo woo woo. But you know what I'm saying? I was either not trying to talk to Shorty, or I was trying to go hang out with the homies, or, I was on some hood nigga shit. Whatever the case may be, I did not have this conversation. And at the time, Wale was that nigga. He's still hard, right? But Wale was just coming out with some fire. And he had a song, and he said, we praying for you, Polo. And I was trying to find a song for you, but I couldn't find it. But anyway, when he said that, it was weird to me. Like, how he know my dog Polo, right? And so, Polo got shot on a Thursday. Mark called me on a Saturday. I think the conversation with me and Polo was either that Wednesday or that Thursday. Mark called me. Shout out to my nigga Hot. He called me, and he was crying, and he said Polo got shot. I was like, man, hell no. So I called Shorty, you know what I'm saying, that I was talking to at the time, and she was crying. And that's when I knew, damn, he got shot. But to me, it's like Cameron say, niggas get shot every day, B. But did he die? And unfortunately, he had died. And so I called his phone. I remember I had a Samsung Propel. It used to slide up. I called his phone, and his grandma picked up, and she said, Polo is no longer with us. And that shit hit me like a fucking bull, straight to the chest, horns and everything. It was the first, it was the first death. It was the first murder that I had to take in. You know what I'm saying? I went to his funeral. I seen him there. God bless the dead. And no disrespect to this lady, but there was a little girl there, and I walk out, and she's like, Polo, I thought you died. Bitch, we had a fucking funeral. Who the fuck do you think is there? But that's kind of what happened, right? I want to say it was hood politics, but we'll never know unless we talk to those individuals that were there. Now, to go to the individuals that were there, 4 people got charged with my dog's death, right? One of them was 29 years old. Polo was 16 at the time. So there's a 13-year difference. I don't know what Polo said or what happened, but there is nothing, nothing that I could think of that would cause somebody who's 29 to commit murder or be a part of something that happens to a 16-year-old. Like, I'm 29 right now. If a 16-year-old come up to me, start talking crazy, I have whatever you want to call it. I have the mental fortitude to be able to have a conversation with this person. Regardless if we talking about him being from Hood A or from Hood B or for whatever the case, we should not be having these things happen in our community, especially in your hood. Now, if this has happened somebody else's hood or down the street, but this your backyard, man. You're supposed to protect the home turf. You know what I'm saying? There's no reason why somebody that old can't diffuse a situation with somebody that young. I've been in situations where my mouth got me in trouble, right? And I learned the hard way. Sometimes you don't say certain things, but there's nothing that can happen that would result in death like that. It just don't make no sense. And you got to remember, when somebody dies, somebody cries. And when somebody is killed, that usually means the person that cries gets the bill. So Bankrate came out with an article on July 3rd of 2023, and it states, according to the National Funeral Directors Association, the average cost of a funeral ranges from $6,900 to $7,800 as of 2021. So let's just say $7K. I don't know what inflation would have done to make $7K in 2011 come out to, but let's just say it's 7K, right, across the board. So on top of Polo's family losing him, right? He was a son, he was a nephew, he was a cousin, he was a friend. They got to come out with 7K to bury him. So on top of the mental tax that death has, you now have a financial tax, right? And on the flip side, let's go to one of the four people. One of the four people that was involved in this murder got life in prison. Now, I don't know what it is in North Carolina. I don't know if the man had priors or anything like that. But just doing some research, let's say life in prison is 15 years. 15 years is 5,475 days. So if you live to be 60 and you get 15 years in prison without parole, which means you got to do your 15 or close to 80% of your 15, you just did 25% of your life in a system. Now, what do you think is going to happen when this person gets out? Do you think society is going to welcome them with open arms? Do you think there's going to be a job lined up? You know what I'm saying? You didn't do an internship. You just did a bid, right? And so what do you think this person is going to do? This person has to make ends meet. This person has to get back on his feet. This person has to make enough money to outpace inflation. That's hard to do when you don't have a lot of jobs available to you because you are a felon, because you have such a egregious charge on your record. I mean, we got to start thinking about these things. Black people, we have come a long way in many areas, but one of the areas that we need to work on is our emotions and our cognitive thinking, our high-level thinking in very short periods of time. The same way a running back can juke left or juke right, you know, out of a hole to go hit a touchdown, we need to start having those mental conversations with ourselves when things begin to hit the fan or we see things begin to hit the fan. Because if I shoot somebody and you with me, you think I'm going to tell that I shot somebody? And if you with me and you say you down, that means you're not going to tell either, right? And so you might get charged with the same thing I get charged, or maybe a lesser charge, but you still getting charged for being there. My lawyer going to tell me to be quiet. The police is going to tell you, if you don't want to do no time, you got to cooperate. Yeah, you didn't do nothing, but you was there with me, and you knew what I was getting down with. So now you got to get a lawyer, right? And so now my lawyer is going to try to pin it on you. Your lawyer is going to try to pin it on me. And now we have this whole legality process that we have to go through, right? And call a spade a spade. In the ideal world, I would say that I did the dirt and you were there, but you didn't know what was going to happen. But we don't live in an ideal world, right? So if I'm that person that see my homie finna do something, I'm going to speak up like, nah, bro, relax. Or I'm gone, right? I feel like a lot of times people who do hot-headed things don't have nothing to lose or don't think about what they will lose. We got to start thinking about what we have. We got to start thinking about how hard we worked to get what we have, how we could lose it in an instance if we do some hot-head shit. We got to start talking to each other. It's not an ego or a pride thing. Really, if you think about it, it's a leader thing. A leader speaks up and says, nah, man, relax. Regardless of what hood politics get involved, like, bro, relax, man. I ain't trying to die today. You know, when I get pulled over and the police come up to me and they real aggressive, I say, officer, am I going to die today? Because if so, I like to call my mom. They immediately shut down. You feel me? Because it's like, nah, I'm just pulling you over for this, that, and the third. Why you think you're going to die today? I don't know, because you're the police and I'm black and we've seen what happens, right? So we got to start having this conversation. You know, you hot, you got a gun, he talking shit. I know you don't know how to have a high-level debate conversation with somebody, so you might pull that out. We got to stop doing that. Way too many lives being lost. These people is making so much money on these. You think people who just had somebody murdered in their family got to come with 7K out their pocket? You think they're going to get a discount from a funeral home? If anything, the funeral home going to show them the extra stuff. This is the only time this person is going to be buried. You should make sure that they get, level A, grade A, the best of the best. And now you out $10,000 and somebody you love. We got to think about that more. Once again, When somebody dies, somebody cries. But when somebody is killed, somebody else gets the bill. And so when my dog Polo died, he had his family crying. And then when those 4 other brothers got charged, and when one brother went away, I'm sure his mother or his father or somebody in his family was crying because he was gone as well for 15 years, maybe more. And once again, it's not a black versus white thing. It's a rich versus poor thing. It's a class thing. And so, the people at the top want to see this happen to people at the bottom, because that means that the people at the bottom are one step farther away from closing the gap, which is the most important thing that we can do. We got to close the gap so that all of us can get a piece of the American pie. And we can't be doing that if we're killing each other. And so, once again, rest in peace to Polo.